Hello there guys, RMP792 here. So, been a little while since I've done one of these, and I said that this time I would be talking about the Grey Knights and other very specific chapters of Space Marines. Because a lot of the Space Marine chapters are kind of very unique and very individual and have stuff that sets them apart from, I don't want to say generic Space Marines, but you know what I mean by that statement, I would presume. You know, the more standardized, regimented variant of Space Marines. So the reason I like the Grey Knights is that they have one completely unique thing about them. Well, several completely unique things, but the most interesting thing is all of the other Space Marine legions had their genetic template, their gene seed, taken from one of the Primarchs. So the Primarchs got their gene seed from the Emperor and then passed it on to their legions. And each Space Marine chapter came from one of those original legions. Some of them know exactly which one, some of them don't. You know, the Blood Ravens in particular don't know which of the original legions they spawned from, and they refer to their Primarch as the unknown Primarch, because they genuinely don't know which one it was. Incidentally, my camera does not want to focus this morning. It's weird. Anyway. But, yeah, so that they genuinely do not know who their Primarch was. Which does make for some interesting theories. But, anyway, I might talk about the Blood Ravens at some other point. Probably if and when I cover Dawn of War 3 on the channel, which I'll probably do. But anyway. So yes, so whereas each of the Space Marine chapters takes their gene seed from one of the Primarchs, the Grey Knights are unique. They get their gene seed directly from the Emperor. And once again, in order to understand the Grey Knights, we have to go all the way back in the timeline to the days of the Horus Heresy. Specifically, after the Horus Heresy, or towards the tail end of it, they knew that, you know, even if they won, that the universe would be forever changed. They knew that chaos was going to be a major threat. They knew that they'd be having to fight demons and monsters and God knows what else and other horrific creatures from the warp. So, they created a new breed of Space Marine, the Grey Knights. And they built them a secret base on Titan, as in the moon of... Is it Jupiter, the Titan orbit? I can't remember. Either way, it's Titan is one of the moons in this solar system. So they built them a secret base there, and they brought the first Grey Knight initiates there, and they infused them with gene seed taken directly from the Emperor. And to train them, they had a very specific group of individuals, all of them Space Marines, and every single one of them, as far as I know, taken from traitor legions. Specifically, there were at least a couple of guys who used to be part of the Sons of Horus, which is Horus's legion, who basically by that time had started going by Lunar Wolves again. Short version, the Lunar Wolves, you know, were a very respected Space Marine chapter under Horus. When Horus became War Master, they eventually changed their name to the Sons of Horus. When he turned traitor, quite a few of the guys who refused to rebel with him went back to using Lunar Wolves as their identifier because, you know, it singled them out from the rest of them without losing their identities. So anyway, so, you know, there was a couple of Lunar Wolves. There was at least a couple of guys from the Eisenstein, which was a very small ship that basically fled Horus's fleet and got a message to Earth about the rebellion. And yeah, and various others. So this group of Space Marines who understood the corruption of chaos probably better than anybody else in the Imperium at that time, yeah, with the obvious exception of the Emperor and things like that, basically, you know, they trained these Grey Knights, and they basically went into a warp rift. And because time is weird in the warp, when they emerged, you know, not long after, they had, you know, the base had been massively expanded, and they had a full combat-ready set of Grey Knights, a full chapter, that, you know, which is about 1,000 Marines. And the Grey Knights are completely unique because every single Grey Knight is a Psyker. Why on earth isn't my camera focusing? I don't know why. Yeah. It's a cheap camera. I have no idea how to make it focus. So, anyway. But, so yes, every single Grey Knight is a Psyker, which is very, very unusual because the psychic mutation is relatively rare. And it's one of those things where you're not sure if they pick their initiates for those with psychic potential, or if it's simply that getting the Emperor's gene seed triggers psychic potential. So, put it this way, I wouldn't be surprised to find out it's a little of both. But anyway. And the Grey Knights are the militant arm of the Ordo Malleus. They are the militant arm of the Demon Hunters. They are trained specifically to kill creatures of chaos, to kill chaos space marines, to kill anything that serves the warp, basically. And they are very, very good at it. Every single one of their weapons is a psychically infused weapon. And that basically means that in addition to basically being a very well-constructed weapon, as in a master craftsman in the modern age would look at these weapons and just throw down their tools and declare themselves crap in comparison to whoever made those made Grey Knight weapons. They are that gorgeous. They are each masterfully crafted, but each one basically runs psychic energy through it, and that makes it more effective. It cuts through things harder and sharper than it should be able to. So armor just does not stand up to them, and it makes them doubly effective against any creature of the warp, which are to all intents and purposes made up of pure psychic essence. So Grey Knight weapons are doubly effective against chaos forces, which is why that's what they're designed from the ground up to fight and to kill. And the Grey Knights have a singularly impressive record in that no Grey Knight has ever fallen to chaos, which is as far as I know, that's unique among Space Marine chapters. There's probably minor chapters who technically haven't because they've never been in the position where that might happen, but as far as I know, and especially given that they spend all their time going after chaos, the fact that no Grey Knight has ever fallen to chaos is considered especially impressive. And it is impressive. So the Grey Knights as a group are very, very specialized, and they're very, very effective at what they do. The Grey Knights are some of the only human beings who can go toe-to-toe with greater demons and actually have a chance in hell of coming out of it alive. As I said way back in the Digging in the Crate episode on Fire Warrior, the fact that a single Tau Fire Warrior in that game goes up against a greater demon and lives is kind of ridiculous. If that had been a single Grey Knight, might have been possible. They'd probably have died in the attempt, but they would have put up a better fight than pretty much anybody else in the entire 40k universe. But the thing about the Grey Knights is they're actually a secret. Specifically, nobody is supposed to know that the Grey Knights even exist, with the exception of senior members of the Ordo Malleus, so senior Demon Hunter Inquisitors, who basically have the authorization to summon them in and say, I need backup. And they can call for assistance from the Grey Knights. But certain Space Marine chapters do know they exist. The Space Wolves, for example, have a reasonably solid working relationship with them. But anyone who isn't authorized to know will either have their memory erased psychically, or they'll just be killed. Because the Grey Knights ideally they're meant to be a secret weapon. They're something that gets deployed and just trashes the enemy and then buggers off. And if they do it right, no one will ever know they were there. In certain situations, they will actively work with leaders of various groups, but there's been at least a few occasions where they basically worked with an Imperial Guard battalion to take out the forces of chaos, and then they've wiped out the Imperial Guard battalion. Not because they Not because they dislike them, not even because they think they've fallen into chaos, simply because it's their duty. That they are the if the Space Marines are the Emperor's mailed fist, the Grey Knights are his hidden blade. To all intents and purposes, they are ready and willing to do whatever is necessary to fight the forces of chaos. And if that means killing Imperial citizens, they will do it. They don't relish it, they don't look forward to it, but if it is necessary, they will do it. And the Grey Knights, I maintain, they're a very interesting chapter because they are. All the other Space Marine chapters are, I won't say they're unspecialized, but they are designed as a general purpose. Everything in the universe wants to kill us, so we've got to be prepared for everything kind of attitude. The Grey Knights are chaos killers from the ground up. That's what they were. That's what they were designed and built and armored and everything else to do. They have a lot of flame-based weaponry because they like the old Purge the Heretic routine. They have a lot of psychic-based weaponry that can absolutely shred demons. And if a Chaos Commander sees a force of Grey Knights coming over the hill, if he's got any goddamn sense, he'll run. Because when the Grey Knights fight en masse, there is very little that can stand against them. There's a reason why in Dark Crusade you're only ever allowed to field one squad of them at a time. Because they are very, very powerful. But again, they tend not to operate in massive numbers. As far as I know, and again, my knowledge of the 40k universe is far from complete. It's I know a lot, as can be proved by this vlog series, but I'm never going to claim to know everything. But as far as I know, the Grey Knights have never deployed en masse. Insofar as a mass deployment of Space Marines is assumed to be sort of half a chapter to an entire chapter, so anywhere between about 500 and 1,000 Marines. To the best of my knowledge, they've never deployed in those kind of numbers. They are small strike units, and they go in, clean up, and get out. So as I say, very few people in the Imperium are even aware that they exist. Those that are kind of justly terrified of them. But they appreciate that they are kind of the Imperium's last best line of defense against the forces of chaos. So that's the Grey Knights. I like the Grey Knights. They're a very interesting little, interesting chapter. And again, I would have loved to see a video game kind of in the style of 40k Space Marine that actually focused on a Grey Knight or a small squad of Grey Knights. That could have been quite interesting, but we'll see. There's lots and lots of 40k games out there that will undoubtedly be made at some point, so either way. So I think that's basically all I've got on the Grey Knights, and I think that's pretty much all I've got on the 40k universe at this point. Again, if there's anything specific you want to hear about, please do feel free to comment. And just generally, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in future videos, when hopefully my camera will focus properly.